Self-review 2, Chloe Blake. Review of my character of the sailor in pantomime. Physical skills. What do you find most interesting about your physical performance? About my physical performance being the sailor, I find my reactions to what's going on stage around me the most interesting. For example, at the beginning of the sailor medley, I'm clapping along, waving at other people, reacting to what other people are doing. So if someone else does something funny, I'll laugh. If someone else waves at me, I'll wave back. And also when the captain and his crew come on stage, I look around looking confused. I go up to other people and sort of, say to them, oh, they look good, don't they? So I'm always reacting to what's going on around me, which is what I find really interesting about my performance in the sailor medley. How could you experiment more with your movement? I feel I could have done more comedy in my movement. For example, I could have, when the captain and his crew take over our dancing and basically shift us out the way, I feel I could have maybe been more overly exaggerated in being annoyed, so acted quite stubbornly like a child, sort of throwing a tantrum that our dancing and singing has been interrupted. And then as they start to sing their song, I could have started getting it in the Navy. I could have started getting into it more, and then I could start overly dancing and being a bit crazy with my dance moves. That could have been funny. So I could have exaggerated more with my movements, perhaps, and experimented more with the comedy aspects that I could have added into that scene. What was good about your physicality? I was always really big with my gestures, so we had to clap along with the music, and I was always clapping really big, as if I was sort of tipsy, having a party. I was enjoying it, so I was always really, really big with my gestures, waving at other people, waving at the audience. So that was good about my physicality. Have you remembered your blocking and movement? Yes, I always remembered where I had to stand, where I had to go, the movement for the dancers, everything was, I definitely remembered that. Do you use appropriate gestures and facial expressions? Yes, again, it took me a while to get into the role of the sailor, as in it took me a while to understand sort of how I had to act, how a sailor might act if he was having a bit of a party with his friends on the ship. But after a while, I got into the role a lot more, and so I was sort of just having a good time and, having a laugh with my friends and a dance and a sing. I just had fun. I feel like I had fun in the sailor medley, and that really paid off, and that really made the performance more fun and more energetic as a whole. What could be improved? Even better if I feel I could have interacted with the audience more, perhaps maybe got some of the audience clapping along and dancing along, maybe gone up onto the stairs and got some of the children, or my peers, clapping along, and I think that would have been good. And again, experimented more with comedy and levels of tension to create that comedy. Characterization. Are you using appropriate acting techniques? I believe that I'm using appropriate acting techniques when it comes to gestures and facial expressions and vocals. So I'm loud, big facial expressions, so big smiley expressions, and clapping nice and loudly and tapping my foot and shaking my hips. I do feel I could have been even more animated, even more over-exaggerated, however. Is this an appropriate portrayal of the character? I do feel it is an appropriate portrayal of the character. A sailor who has had a few to drink, he's with his friends, he's merry, he's having a laugh on the ship, he's having a dance and a sing-song. At first, I don't feel I portrayed the character very well, but my tutor helped me with developing my character and exploring what sailors would have been like when they were merry on a ship. And so I do feel that now I do portray my character well. Can you identify your levels of tensions? Do you show your feelings physically? So I am a happy character, a happy sailor, having fun, having a laugh. And I do get a little bit confused and a little bit annoyed when the captain and his crew come on and interrupt our song to sing in the Navy. However, I do feel that I could have explored my levels of tension a little bit more and gone from, really confused and really angry to then, again, suddenly really excited again and enjoying the music. That would have just added to the energy and the comedy of the performance. Is your character's objectives clear in every scene? Yes, I do feel my character's objectives are clear, so it's obvious that I'm having fun, I'm having a good time, I'm having a dance, and then I get confused, and then I'm having fun again. So, yeah, my character's objectives are clear, mainly through gestures and smiling and facial expressions. Is the acting technique appropriate to the style of the performance? Entrances, stance, exit, audience interaction. Again, I feel I could have used more audience interaction because we are sort of silly sailors having a laugh. I could have gone up to the audience and high-fived them more, maybe. Stance, I feel, was very appropriate. It was a very casual stance, so sort of standing on one hip, slouching a little bit, clapping. Your posture wasn't very upright, but that's how it was. Very relaxed stance. Entrances and exits. So we exit up the stairs, which I think's good because going through the audience, it's that's exciting for the audience. It's meant to be a fun and exciting dance, and having the actors go through the audience is exciting for the audience. Do use a range of emotions and actions used to meet their characters' objectives. There are 2 emotions in the Sailor medley that I have to meet, and these are happy and excitable, and then a bit confused and a bit annoyed and a bit, and I do feel that I meet these emotions well through facial expressions, going from happy and like off the lead a bit and wild to then very confused, sort of frowning a bit, looking up, wondering what's going on, shrugging my shoulders, folding my arms, and then going back to that happy, clapping, smiling, dancing. So, do you react to other characters on stage? I definitely think as the sailor I react to other characters on stage. Me and Elise wave to each other. I go up to Rebecca Wilkes and say hi to her and high five her, and I wave to other people, and so yeah, I definitely react to other characters on stage. When the captain and his crew come in to sing their song, I watch what they're doing, and I turn to the audience and look surprised, and so I'm always reacting. List of further skills to consider. Vocal skills, grade from 1 to 10. Then describe what is good and what needs improving below each skill. Vocals. Loudness, 10. I feel I'm very clear with my vocals and very loud and project well. Emotion tone, 10. I have an energetic voice. Make it obvious that I'm happy, I'm having a good time. Pace, 8. I think I keep to a good steady pace. I'm always going. I could maybe explore with pace at times, but I'm always keeping in pace with the song itself. Rhythm 10. I stick to a good rhythm. I never lose the rhythm of the song. I clap in time with good rhythm. I stamp my feet to the rhythm. I'm always on time with my movements and my dancing. Comedy timing and pausing 7. As I mentioned earlier, I could have looked more at comedy. I could have maybe added in a few more comedy moments. It is a very fun and light-hearted piece, so I do feel I could experiment a little bit more with my comedy aspects. Accent and dialect 9. I feel I am, again, good with my accent as a sailor. Clear. My accent's clear. It's clear what I'm saying, what I'm singing, and what I'm doing. Diction 9. I feel, again, I'm clear and project well. Pitch 8. It's obvious I use a sort of a low pitch because I am trying to be a sort of man sailor, a little bit butch, a little bit drunk. And so it's a complete difference to when I'm playing Fairy Bow Bells. Fairy Bow Bells, you know, my pitch is really high, and then for my sailor, my pitch is quite low, so it's very, very different. Fluidity 7. I feel my vocals flow together well. So I think my fluidity overall is good. Movement, posture 7, but mainly because my posture as the sailor isn't supposed to be upright and straight. Again, complete difference between Fairy Bow Bells and the sailor. Fairy Bow Bells is very upright, head held high, walking on her tiptoes, and the sailor is very slouched, very relaxed. Facial expressions 10. I use lots of different facial expressions to tell the story, to show that I was a sailor having fun, to show that I was talking to my friends, to show when I was confused. So I think I was very good with my facial expressions. Gestures 10. I feel I use my gestures well. There were possibly I possibly give myself a 9 actually for gestures, just because I do feel there were times that they could have been bigger, more animated. So I'm going to give myself a 9 for gestures. Openness and confidence 10. I feel I was very, very confident. I never lost that confidence. I was always full of energy and portraying my character well. Use of space 8. I used the space well, so I would go up to different sailors and stand with them as if I was talking to my friends. Eye contact 6. I feel I could have made eye contact with the audience more. My interaction with the audience I do feel could have been a lot better. Energy 10. Within my performance, I feel I kept high levels of energy throughout. I never dropped that energy. Spatial awareness 9. I never got in the way of other sailors. And I'm always aware of who's around me. I'm always trying hard to make sure that I'm keeping that spatial awareness. Audience interaction 5. I definitely feel I could have done a lot more with audience interaction. I feel that there's more I have to give for audience interaction. For example, when I exit the stage and I go up the stairs, I could high five the audience maybe. When I'm clapping along, I could go up to the audience and get them to clap along, etc. So I do feel there's a lot of experimenting that could be done with audience interaction. Timing 10. I feel like my timing is always well rehearsed and clear. I never lose timing or rhythm, so timing I think is good. And memory 10. I always remember my lines, my blocking, my movement. So I feel that my memory is really good.